Come, let us explore how stress and anxiety are no match for ancient meditation. Whoopsie, quick edit. So together as a team, let us relaxingly recite. Good evening, Shivi. Contrary to the ravings of 1001 self-help gurus, personal coaches, and con men, the experience of stress is not an indictment. If we asked an evolutionary biologist, they could tell us there are stressors. Some are circumstantial, some are physical, some are interpersonal, some are mental. No, no. Stress or dukkha is not the smoking gun, proving that we believe in a permanent or independent self. That we are arrogant, cowardly, or faithless. Our visceral response to stress evolved as an evolutionary mechanism in response to peril in order to keep us alive. To paraphrase Doctor of Philosophy Neil deGrasse Tyson, it could feel like the universe is trying to kill us. And biology has evolved mechanisms to respond to the danger appropriately. For lifetimes, take two. For life forms born without a stress response typically did not live long enough to reproduce and pass on their genetic traits. No sentient being is a stranger to the stressors of not getting what we want when we want it, not keeping what we like for as long as we please, and enduring that which we do not want. Birth is stressful, illness is stressful, even dying is stressful. Since stress, from the petty to the existential, is more of a rule than an exception. The wise develop strategies to deal with it. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Having completed our opening lesson, it is time to shift gears. It is Rey Skywalker's Sunday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We turn now to the, oopsie, that's the wrong button. Let's try 9. Oof, look at that. Okay, I'm going to hit sadhana. We're going to hit this one. There we go. Welcome to Very Easy Meditation Practice Text, or sadhana if you're nasty. Together let us relaxingly recite. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite the real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Let us review how mindfulness works. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. To help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of the rigidity and controlling tendencies of concentration. Well, let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third as well as the upper third of that same spinal cord. Our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to both physically relax as well as mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite noticing. And during each exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Good evening and welcome to the second quarter of this evening's live stream. Together as a team, let us relaxingly recite an excerpt from the vast expanse of the diamond-like mind, also known as Dorje Sempa Namkat She, forgive my pronunciation. Let's just say written 14 centuries ago by Prahe Vajra, translated from the Tibetan by Chokya Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Together, the intention of the mind, the donor, offers all through the power of noticing, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. In the accomplishment that arises from thusly noticing, balanced meditation is mastered. The greatest offering we can make to our teacher or to a real or imagined entity is simply our practice of mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is when we notice the nitty-gritty. Noticing an unpleasant emotion, noticing a painful sensation is not a failing, for without noticing, there can be no release. Let us continue. The intention of the mind, the donor, offers all through the power of noticing, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. In the accomplishment that arises from thusly noticing, balanced meditation is mastered. The intention of the mind, the donor, offers all through the power of noticing, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. In the accomplishment that arises from thusly noticing, balanced meditation is mastered. A tale is told in Hebrew legend that a king of either Judah or Israel, I do not remember, received a threatening letter from a neighboring kingdom, a great mighty empire. And the king was deeply troubled by this letter, and so he went to the temple and set the letter upon the altar. And so in various religions and various spiritual paths, the idea remains the same, that vulnerability is the highest offering. Let us continue. The intention of the mind, the donor, offers all through the power of noticing, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. In the accomplishment that arises from thusly noticing, balanced meditation is mastered. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we can rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Let's take a moment to review how mindfulness works. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, our sympathetic nervous system helps us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Now let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, our parasympathetic nervous system helps us to physically relax and mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, may we silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, may we silently and mentally recite relaxing. Now remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Welcome to the third quarter of this evening's live stream. Together, let us relaxingly recite 4 repetitions of this passage from Prahevajra's vast expanse of the diamond-like mind. Allow me to explain the title. So, the idea is that the more we train in mindfulness and meditation, the more our mind becomes diamond strong. So together let us recite. Practicing, noticing, and relaxing briefly is union. Delighting in it is samaya. Sitting in the method of awareness and release, thus union is non-dually offered. The great meditation teacher Karma Chakme Rinpoche insisted that the essence of morality was simply non-violence. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. And the most efficient way to cultivate loving kindness is simply through awareness and release of whatever comes up. For some strange reason, functional and magnetic resonance imaging studies have verified this, that the more we rely upon our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems to notice and relax in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation, the more we calm the amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression, and the more we stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. This is reflected in the second passage of this text when it teaches that where it infers that the highest empathy, the highest love, the highest compassion is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. So having established that the essence of morality is simply love, and the essence of love, or love is the inevitable byproduct of mindfulness and meditation, through the transitive property of equality, we say that delighting and noticing and relaxing is the fulfillment of all our vows, real or imagined vows, to rely upon teacher's example, rely upon teacher's instructions, and rely upon teacher's students. A continuing theme the author keeps coming back to is offering. Buddhist Tantra could be described in terms of Mahayoga, Anayoga, or Ati Yoga, or Tantra Mahamudra, Bindu Mahamudra, and Sutra Mahamudra. Same idea. Wherein it's basically visualization and ritual, or channels, winds, and drops, or simply noticing and relaxing. And what this author and what Tilopa also taught was that the highest spiritual practice is not mucking about with our chi. It's not mucking about with offerings and visualizations. It's simply noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly to whatever cartwheels across the stage of our mind. And then physically relaxing and mentally releasing. That is the essence of the path. The essence of all vows, the essence of all morality, the essence of all offerings. Let's continue. Practicing noticing and relaxing briefly is union. Delighting in it is samaya. Sitting in the method of awareness and release, thus union is non-dually offered. Practicing noticing and relaxing briefly is union. Delighting in it is samaya. Sitting in the method of awareness and release, thus union is non-dually offered. Practicing noticing and relaxing briefly is union. Delighting in it is samaya. Sitting in the method of awareness and release, thus union is non-dually offered. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. So to take all that I've blathered on about and collect it into a nice little essence or summary, here comes mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena. From the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. And now let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release. We can cooperate, with this wiring during our inhalation by silently and mentally reciting noticing, and during our exhalation by silently and mentally reciting relaxing. Now remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Just like Shivi or Victor sometimes do. Welcome to the final quarter of this evening's live stream. Together, let us relaxingly recite 4 repetitions of this passage. Giving without grasping is the Dharma grain offering. All activities being beyond action are completed. Since non-conceptual wisdom eliminates obstructors, the ultimate mantra is balanced, silent meditation. So let's talk about the advantages of silent, balanced meditation. As I mentioned previously, one of the benefits is that we become more empathetic, more kind, and we're able to practice kindness without reserve. This is the ultimate grain offering. All activities. So every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever good or bad karma we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel rather non-graspable. The love that is the result of meditation fulfills all morality. When we relax into our exhalation, we do not experience the pseudo-intellectual or contemplation, nor do we experience blind faith and superstition. When we relax into our exhalation, what we experience is the visceral wisdom of automatically letting go. Together, let's recite. Giving without grasping is the Dharma grain offering. All activities being beyond action are complicated. Are completed. Since non-conceptual wisdom eliminates obstructors, the ultimate mantra is balanced, silent meditation. Whatever real or imagined, literal or metaphoric obstructions we perceive during our inhalation, once we relax into our exhalation, that which we perceived during our previous inhalation, even the big, bad, scary obstructors, are far less tangible. Therefore, this echoes that which is read in the Heart Sutra, that the ultimate mantra, the ultimate protection, comes simply from practicing the mindfulness and meditation and their consequential wisdom of letting go. Together. Giving without grasping is the Dharma grain offering. All activities being beyond action are completed. Since non-conceptual wisdom eliminates obstructors, the ultimate mantra is balanced, silent meditation. Giving without grasping is the Dharma grain offering. All activities being beyond action are completed. Since non-conceptual wisdom eliminates obstructors, the ultimate mantra is balanced, silent meditation. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so gently invites our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Before we meditate, I'd like to take a moment to review. Let's begin by reviewing mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice dualities, such as dread and desire, danger and safety, lack and boon, pain and pleasure, scorn and praise, shame and fame. Now let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, we are already wired to physically relax and mentally release. Why then do we sit in mindfulness and meditation? To actively cooperate with that wiring by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during our inhalation and silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Now, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Ask before the class is over, because when class is over, my brains turn into tapioca. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 13 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.